Okay, so for this problem, we have a small country with 5 states, A, B, C, D, and E. The total population of the country is 26.8 total population. According to the country's constitution, the seats in the legislature are apportioned to the states according to their standard quota. Oh, it looks like you've cut off part of the problem here. According to their populations, the standard quota of each state is shown in the table. Determine each state's apportionment using Webster's method. Okay, they didn't tell us how many seats there are to be given out. That is key, and we can figure it out by adding up the standard quotas. Because if you remember, the standard quota of each state is the exact fair share, the exact number of seats that each state should get if we could give out a part of a seat. We can't, but when we add them all up, that will tell us the total seats. Okay, so when I add these all up, I get 134. So there are 134 seats in this legislature. And then they gave us the standard quotas, which is a step that we usually calculate ourselves. And the way we calculate it, remember, is we calculate the standard divisor, which is the total population divided by the number of seats. So in this case, it comes out to 0.2. Standard divisor is 0.2. So I'm doing all my little scratch work over on the side. And that from here, I can calculate the population of each state. So I calculate my population of each state because generally I calculate standard quotas by doing the population divided by the standard divisor. So, but I already know the standard quota, but I don't know the population. So for each of these, I could put in the standard quota. So for state A, I put in 38.1. Population is what I don't know, and the standard divisor is 0.2. So I multiply both sides by 0.2 to get the population. So my population here is going to be 38.1 times 0.2 is 7.62. So let's put that down here. Population, here it's 7.62. So I'm just going to do the same thing for each of these. Solve for the population by multiplying the standard quota by 0.2. And I get 6.34. 4.92, 4.54, and 3.38. And then you could double check if you want. You could divide each population by 0.2, and you'll see that you get these standard quotas. Okay. Now, the whole idea here is that we want to give out 134 seats. You can't give out a part of a seat, so we round. Okay, so Webster's method rounding is to just your standard rounding rule. 0.5 and above round up, below 0.5 you round down. So I would get 38, 32, 25, 23, and 17. So those are my rounded quotas. But when I add them up, 38 plus 32 plus 25 plus 23 plus 17, I've given out 135 seats. I don't have 135 seats. I have 134 seats to give out. Okay, and I know it's 134 because that's the sum of the standard quotas. The standard quotas add up to 134, so that's the total number of seats. I've given out too many, right? When you give out too many seats, you need to make the divisor a little bit bigger. So I was using the standard divisor of 0.2. I want to make that a little bit bigger. So I'm going to use a modified divisor. And the standard rule of your first guess is to change your divisor by 0.5% for each seat you are off. So I'm off by 1 seat. I gave out 1 too many. So I want to make this 0.5% bigger. So I do 0.005, that's 0.5% times 0.2, and I get 0.001. So I'm going to do 0.2001. 0.201. That is just a little bit bigger, about 0.5% bigger than our last divisor. You don't have to be super exact. You could have tried 0.21 and you would have just seen very quickly as you went through Webster's method that it's too big and you'd make it smaller. 0.201 is my next guess here. So I have to come up with a modified quota, which means I have to take each state's population and divide by the new divisor, okay, which is why I calculated the state's populations earlier. Okay, so I'm going to take each state population and divide by 0.201. So 7.62 divided by 0.201 is 37.9. And then 6.34 divided by 0.201 is 31.5. And then 4.92 divided by 0.201 is 24.47. And then 4.54 divided by 0.201 is 22.58. And 3.38 divided by 0.201 is 16.8. Okay, adding those together doesn't mean anything, but what I want to do now is round my modified quotas. And again, I'm just rounding using typical rounding rule because this is Webster's method. So I get 38, 32, 24, 23, and 17. And when I add those together, I get 134, which is the correct number of seats. So this is going to be your answer. 38, 32, 24, 23, 17, because that gives you 134 seats rather than 135.